Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today we're going to be looking at something pretty amazing, the potential for AI to solve the global energy access problem. Millions of people around the world without reliable electricity. We're going to be taking a close look at a piece called Bridging the Energy Gap, how AI can illuminate the path to equity and access. And I think you're going to find this really interesting.
Well, what's really fascinating to me is how deeply energy access is tied to social and economic progress. Um, we're not just talking about flipping a light switch, it's about giving communities the power to really thrive.
So we're talking like almost 800 million people worldwide without electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the entire population of Europe. And it's not just a developing world problem either. Even in developed nations, there are pockets of energy poverty that put a real strain on households.
Exactly. And to make matters worse, those who are most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change,
Hmm.
they often lack the resources to adapt. Things like access to clean energy infrastructure, it kind of creates a vicious cycle.
It's like they're stuck on a dirt road while the rest of the world is speeding ahead on a superhighway. But that's where AI can make a real difference, right? It can be this powerful tool to help identify the best solutions and speed up progress.
Exactly. AI can be like a spotlight shining a light on solutions that we might not have even seen before. For example, it can help us pinpoint these energy deserts, areas that lack sufficient energy infrastructure, by using satellite imagery and analyzing data on population density and energy consumption.
So AI can be a detective, but it can also be a planner. Like let's say you have a coastal town that's constantly being hit by hurricanes. AI could help predict which areas are most vulnerable and then figure out where to install solar microgrids so that even when the main power grid goes down, these communities can stay resilient. That's incredible.
It is, and AI's predictive power is really only just beginning to be explored. We're already seeing real-world examples of how this technology is changing lives. In sub-Saharan Africa, AI is being used to identify the best locations for off-grid solar installations. This is bringing electricity to thousands of homes for the very first time.
That's really inspiring. It's like opening up a whole world of opportunities for these communities. Kids can study at night, businesses can thrive, all thanks to AI. I bet there are similar success stories closer to home, too.
Absolutely. In the Midwest, one organization used AI to figure out the best places for infrastructure upgrades in low-income neighborhoods. And the result, well, residents saw their utility bills go down by like 40%, and
Yeah.
they were able to transition to cleaner energy sources. It's a real win-win situation.
These stories are really encouraging. But I do wonder, are there any potential downsides we should be thinking about? Could using AI in this way actually create new problems while trying to solve old ones? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on that.
That's a great question, and it's really important to approach these solutions with a critical eye. While AI has huge potential for good, it's not a magic bullet. We have to be mindful of its limitations and the potential unintended consequences.
So it's not just about throwing AI at the problem. It's about being strategic and thoughtful in how we use it. What are some specific things we should be cautious about?
I think a key consideration is making sure these AI-powered solutions are truly sustainable in the long run. We don't want to create dependencies on complex algorithms and advanced technologies, especially in regions that might have limited resources or technical expertise.
Yeah, that makes sense. We don't want to give someone a fancy sports car when what they really need is a reliable bicycle.
That's a perfect analogy. It's about finding solutions that fit the context, not just the shiniest new technology. We need to think long term about things like maintenance, affordability, and building local capacity.
So sustainable solutions that actually empower communities, not just quick fixes. But what about the data that's feeding these AI algorithms? Is there a risk that we could be perpetuating existing biases or inequalities if the data itself is flawed?
You've hit on a really critical point. The quality and the representativeness of the data are absolutely crucial. If the data is biased, then the algorithm will be biased, and it could end up amplifying existing disparities. So, for example, imagine an AI system that's designed to optimize energy distribution. If it's trained on historical data that reflects existing inequalities in access, it might unintentionally perpetuate those same patterns and further disadvantage communities that are already marginalized.
That's a sobering thought. It really highlights the importance of not just focusing on the technology itself, but also on the human element. We need diverse perspectives and careful consideration of the social and ethical implications.
Absolutely. We need to involve the communities who will be directly affected by these solutions. Their insights, their needs, their concerns have to be front and center. It's about co-creating solutions, not imposing them from the top down.
So it's about collaboration, transparency, and a commitment to equitable outcomes. It sounds like we're talking about a paradigm shift, not just a technological advancement.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond those traditional centralized models of energy production and distribution and towards more decentralized community-driven approaches. AI can be a powerful tool in this transition, but only if we use it wisely and ethically.
You've mentioned ethical considerations a few times, so I'm curious, what are some specific ethical guidelines or principles that should guide the development and deployment of AI in the energy sector?
That's a great question. A fundamental principle is that these technologies should be used to promote human well-being and social justice. Not to exacerbate existing inequalities, we need transparency and accountability, making sure that the decision-making processes behind these algorithms are open to scrutiny, and that there are mechanisms for redress if things go wrong.
Okay, so transparency, accountability, and a focus on human well-being. These are all really crucial elements, but how do we put these principles into practice? Who is responsible for making sure that AI is used ethically in this context?
It's a shared responsibility.
Yeah.
Policymakers need to establish clear regulatory frameworks that promote ethical AI development and use. Tech companies developing these solutions need to prioritize ethical considerations right from the start, embedding principles of fairness and inclusivity in their design processes. And individuals like you and me, we have a role to play too. We need to demand transparency, hold decision makers accountable, and advocate for a future where technology serves humanity.
That's a powerful message. It really emphasizes that this isn't just about engineers and scientists. It's about all of us working together to shape a better future. So how can we translate these lofty ideals into concrete action? What are some practical steps that individuals can take to get involved?
Well, there are lots of ways to make a difference. First and foremost, educate yourself about AI and its implications for the energy sector. There are some fantastic resources out there from organizations like the World Bank and the International Energy Agency. Once you have a deeper understanding, you can start advocating for change.
Okay, so knowledge is power.
Yeah.
What else can we do?
Support organizations that are working to promote energy access and ethical AI development. There are countless NGOs and grassroots initiatives doing incredible work in the space. You can volunteer your time, you can donate to their cause, or even just spread awareness about their work.
So we can donate our time or money, but are there ways that we can use our everyday choices to make a difference?
Absolutely. As consumers, our choices have power. Support companies that prioritize ethical AI development and sustainability. Look for transparency in their practices and a commitment to social impact. Your purchasing decisions send a strong signal to the market.
So it's about voting with our wallets. That makes sense. But let's say someone listening is really passionate about this topic and they want to go beyond individual actions. What are some ways to get more actively involved in shaping policy or driving innovation in this field?
If you're looking to make a bigger impact, consider engaging with your elected officials. Advocate for policies that promote renewable energy access, and responsible AI development. Attend town halls, write letters, make your voice heard.
It's about being an active citizen, right? Not just waiting for change to happen, but being part of the solution.
Exactly. And if you have a knack for technology or innovation, you might consider exploring careers in the field of AI for energy. There's a growing demand for talented individuals who can develop and deploy these solutions responsibly.
Wow, so many possibilities. It's inspiring to think about how we can all contribute, whether it's through our daily choices, our advocacy efforts, or our professional pursuits. We've covered a lot of ground today, but I want to leave our listeners with a final thought. Remember that image we talked about earlier of a world where clean, reliable energy is as readily available as clean water. It might seem like a distant dream, but with the power of AI and the collective will of a global community, it's a dream that we can make a reality.
It's a future worth striving for, a future where energy empowers, not divides, where sustainable solutions benefit everyone, leaving no one in the dark.
That's a powerful image to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI and energy equity. We hope this conversation has left you feeling informed, inspired, and empowered to be a part of the solution. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged. Let's keep working towards a brighter future for all.